What are you really good at paying attention to? Maybe it's cars, maybe it's your feelings, maybe you're good at noticing other people. We always pay attention, are really good at paying attention to specific things. Right now, and during this class, I invite you to pay attention to what you sense in your body, in your joints, in your muscles. Not your feelings, because those we might want to put on hold or pause as we move and breathe. Sometimes when we pay attention to what's going on in our bodies without analyzing and overthinking, we come to a different place in our mindset and the way that we feel actually. And we are better capable of making choices that are creative and more healthy maybe. So take a seat and let's pay attention to our breath. Erect your spine towards the sky, maybe shoulders back, and then close your eyes. We pay attention to what we see with our eyes. So closing that sensory input off can really help us to focus our mind. So that's why, for now, we close our eyes. So how do you feel staying seated here? Is it comfortable? And then notice how you breathe without changing anything. How do you breathe? Is it a shallow breath? Are you going deep? What's going on? Most likely, your breath can be calmed and be deepened when we pay attention to it. So let's do 7. Slow, deep breath, and you count on your own. And try to stay tuned to actually counting and feeling the breath move your chest and your belly. When and if you're done with those 7 breaths, you can move. Even though this is a slow class, we will have a little bit of dynamic movements to begin with. So as you sit here and move your spine, which is what we typically do to begin with, can you sense if there is any holding blockage in your spine, in the sense that kind of things get a little bit too glued, maybe in your lower back, maybe it's in the middle, maybe it's in your neck. How do you feel like everything is just gliding smoothly through space here? Make sure you get your wrists going. And let's make our way into downward facing dog. Remember your options of tabletop instead of downward facing dog if you feel like that. But if you want to, take your hands to the front of the mat, tuck the toes under, lift your hip up and back, and then paddle your feet or your legs. Try to pay attention right now as you move one leg at a time, how your calves are doing right now. Maybe you can sense that they're connected from the heel, actually all the way down on the heel, connecting up to the upper part of the knee. And then try to stand still, heavy heels, probably without reaching down. So I need to bend my knees. And just let gravity do its work. And a long, tall spine. And then walk your feet to the top end of the mat. Bend your knees even more and fold forward. Put your fingers on the mat, wherever it is, and then close your eyes. Forward folding, and then try to extend your legs to some degree. Feel where you really are at the kind of the end of your rope here of the back of the leg, and then bend your knees to some degree again. So try to go for a bit of an extension and bending. You might feel your hamstring, the back of the thigh, more than the calves right now. And then when you bend your knees next time, navel in and slowly come into a stance. If you feel like everything is kind of turning and twisting around you, go slow. Hip width distance in between your feet. And then let's take those arms out to the side for a big circle. Palms together in front of your chest. And reverse that. You probably stay still. I'll just turn for you to better see. So palms together. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead and extend the arms out to the side. From there, maybe you turn the palms facing up. Inhale. Palms together here in front of your chest. You're going to do that 3 times. Close your eyes again. And sense your shoulders. Maybe you can feel that ball and socket joint. If you have an idea of what the joint looked like, maybe you picture that in your mind as you repeat. If you're about to do your 3rd rep, maybe take your elbows and your hands a little bit further back. Your spine is not moving, but your elbows and your shoulders are coming back. Feel how you incorporate more strength and muscle tissue at the back of your spine, top of the shoulders. When you bring your arms slightly back here, and if you feel like doing that one more time to feel it, you need to pause the video and then do it one more time. Right now, you're again gonna bend your knees and fold forward. I'm gonna guide you through a sequence, and first I'll do it with eyes open. So take your right leg back, turn the back foot around for a warrior 2 posture. Front knee stacked over ankle, so bend that knee, stretch the back leg, arms out. Gaze over the front finger. Get the shoulders down. Side ankle, so elbow on the front thigh, lean forward without lifting that top shoulder too much. Reverse that. Keep the front knee bended as you slowly lean back, stretching the side ribs that is to the front of the mat. Then the thing is that you're going to stay in this side bended position, navel in, and then you're going to turn the front foot around like this. So you'll come into what is equivalent to a wide stance. From there, stand up tall. Maybe you take your arms out and then move into a forward fold. You stay put on your mat. All the way down where you relax your head. Maybe you shake your neck. If you want to use a block here, you're welcome. But then lift your torso up halfway, hands on a block or just your fingertips. And then go for a lift in your left arm. So your left arm reaches up towards the sky. Maybe you have your shoulders stacked, maybe not so much. And release, both hands down, and then you kind of swoop your feet in the direction of the front of the mat. Step that front foot you had back to plank. Either stay here for a plank for a moment, or go to down dog, or take your vinyasa, maybe on your knees. Take the elbows in, navel in, and slowly make your way down. Feel the back of the tricep, the back of the muscles there. Kind of being a little bit offended by being used a lot. Lift the chest and just stay here for a moment. Feel the back. Your spine is being strengthened. Push through the shoulders, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. All of this opposite. Now your right leg is going to come to the front, however you do that. Or your twos, or turn that back foot. Maybe you picture yourself aligning the back heel with the arch of the back foot. Bring the arms out. Again, make sure that knee is stacked over the ankle and gaze over the front fingers. Side ankle, keeping the whole core here aligned with those heels. Keeping the front knee bended, lean back, reverse warrior. I like to take a hold of my thigh or knee, whatever you can reach. Stay with your core like this, if you can. Navel in, turn that front foot. So I lift my toes up, kind of pivot on the heel. Stay in this side bended situation for just a moment. And then reach up, standing tall. Maybe you take your hip in or your hands by your hip and then leaning forward for that wide stance, forward fold. Bring your toes slightly in to watch each other. Then lift up halfway, and before you lift any hand, make sure you have that navel incorporated so you engage the core by sucking in the navel towards the spine. All right? And then lift your right hand up towards the sky and feel you're turning and twisting your core. Let go. Once again, pivot on the mat. Take the front foot to the back, plank. Stay and move to down dog, or slowly on toes or knees, lower down. Cobra up dog, take the shoulders back. And your downward facing dog. Bring yourself down on your knees and take a pause before we repeat, and then we'll be done. Try to focus your attention to your breath again. And then slowly come into your downward facing dog.
I'm going to do this sequence with eyes closed. And this time beginning with left leg. So close your eyes in your down dog and trust the process. Trust that you know what you do because we've been through this sequence once. If you're not sure, maybe you go back and rewatch. Bring the left foot up and back and then to the top end of the mat. Eyes closed. Turn the back foot around before you rise up. Can you sense if the front heel is somewhat aligned with the arch of the back foot? And then see if you can lift up, not falling, but trying to balance. Find warrior two. Eyes closed, but if they were open, you had your nose, your gaze to the front finger. Bend the front knee. Can you sense where it is stacked over the ankle? Most likely, you need to pull the knee more out towards the pinky toe than you would just think that you had to do. Side ankle, bending the front elbow, leaning forward, going slow so you don't lose your balance. Take the back arm, align it with the ear. So maybe the top arm, you're going to bring it a little bit in front of your ear, your face, and then lift it up again to stack the shoulders more intentionally. And bring the top arm over your head like you're reaching for something. Breathe. Feel all the small muscles trying to help you stay stable here. Keep the front knee bent, reverse. So move everything backwards towards the back leg, top arm up. When I do this, I tend to stretch the front knee a little bit, and then when I go into the reverse warrior, I bend the front knee again. Feeling the fatigueness in my front thigh by now. Stay with your core to this side, and then see if you can now extend the front leg and turn that front foot into this wide stance, toes pointing slightly in, and keep staying in this side bended direction. Can you pull your navel slightly more in? And then lift up. We're going to go into that forward fold. Navel in, take your time, trust the process. You want to bend your knees if you have to. And then come down. Where is the floor? Relax everything. You're welcome to shake the legs. Lift up halfway on your fingertips. If you need the block, just maybe open your eyes to find the block. And then lift your left arm up towards the sky. And notice if your hip is moving to your left side. It's very typical that it does that. So try to kind of and put it back in between your feet so you're not helping yourself into a deeper twist with moving the hip. Get both fingers down, still eyes closed, turn on the mat. Maybe you feel the edge of the mat to kind of figure out where you are. Step back into plank. Down dog, or the fun part here, slowly come down without getting your face on the mat. So elbows in, slowly come down. Cobra or up dog, where your hip is off. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Continuing on the other side. Your right leg up and back. Watch your teeth as you bring the right foot there to the top of the mat. Turn the back foot, warrior two. Take your time. Bring the arms out and sink low. Standing in warrior two, eyes still closed. Is your spine tall towards the sky? What are you sensing? How about the pelvis? Have you tucked that back, or do you need to kind of get a little bit cinched in underneath your spine? Not too much though, but just a little bit
so you don't have the ducktail. And just make those small adjustments that you feel like you need to. Side bending. Front elbow down on the front thigh, lean forward. Top arm there. Pull it back. Keep the front knee bended and go for the peaceful warrior variation. Lean very much into the front thigh. I want you to feel the front thigh get really tired. And elongate through the top arm, again aligned with the ear. Okay, wide stance. Keep the side bending going, but extend the front leg. Pivot the foot so your toes are pointing in. Before, stay here for a breath. Wide stance, leaning back. Navel in and come into a stance. Now, if you want to feel something different, don't lean forward yet, and your core and your back is okay, you might want to bring your arms out to the side like an airplane. Navel in, and then go forward. Sense if there's a difference in quality when you lean forward like this. Navel in. Keep the arms out, unless you know you're going to hit your head on the floor. And when you're all the way down, you might let go and let your hands drop down. Lifting up halfway, can incorporate strength and tension in your core. Your right arm moves up towards the sky. Shoulders away from the ears. And then again, that hip, move it back. Coming into a forward fold. Walk your hands to the top of the mat. Keep your eyes closed just a moment more. Step back. Are you still on your mat? From here, down dog or plank. Navel in, slowly down. Cobra up dog, whatever you feel like. And then down dog. And then you can open your eyes and pay attention to where you were all of a sudden placed on the mat. Come down on your knees. We're going to go for a back bend camel pose or variations thereof. Again, paying a lot of attention to what's going on in your hip and your back. So on your knees, tuck the toes. I'm not going to go for the full variation today. Hands behind your back, chest up. Elbows out. If you want to go for the full camel, notice if it's okay for your back. Reach down and reach the heels if you feel like doing that today. Letting go. Take a seat on the mat. Stretching the spine in another direction. Maybe you want to take your fist underneath your knee joint or just move forward, focusing mainly on the lower back. If you're sensing that you only feel your hamstrings, the back of the thigh, then I would invite you to really bend those knees. So take the navel down first, then the chest. Try to relax. Today's class will not finish with resting, but just a seated exploration of what happened in your body. So take a seat on a blanket or whatever. And again, close your eyes. Soften your face. And then notice how your shoulders are doing. We didn't do a lot for the shoulders, but still planking and down dog. You might feel that. How is your spine doing? It's okay to move a little bit just to sense in. Do you feel stronger or warm in your spine and your core? And if you can feel it, what about your legs? And then finishing full circle with breath. Of course, you were most likely a little bit out of breath at some point during this small class. And then you can bring your attention and your awareness to your thoughts and even your emotions. Is there any difference from when you started the class? Don't pick up on on bad feelings, but just notice maybe things have shifted because you have kind of done a moving meditation here on the mat. And just to give the last exercise, so to say, for your brain and your mind, is there a sentence that you wish somebody said to you right now? Is there a sentence or a word that you wish somebody said to you right now? What would that be? And then speak that to yourself. Maybe you need to write it down, but speak it to yourself. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this class. A little bit different than some of the other videos I did. But the purpose, again, is to help you get a little bit of a pause in your mind, in your emotions, because you're sensing your body in a different way. Blessings on your path. Thank you for watching, participating, sharing this video, liking it, and subscribing, of course, most appreciated.